What's good, one quarterback gang?
Come on.
We are back to give you our one quarterback 2024 rookie mock draft 2.0.
Here we
The
go.
second one so far of this cycle. You guys gave some great feedback on the last one. Do us a favor, go ahead and smash that like button if you're in the one quarterback gang. We're doing our
baby.
best to show you guys some love. We have a like goal of 300 likes on today's video. You guys hit 230 on the first one.
Love.
All right, so this is a one quarterback, non-tight end premium format. And we are, let's just start here because this tends to happen. People focus less on the conversations around Dynasty and more on the landing spots in the actual NFL mock draft that we're using.
So
Let's just be super clear.
You dialed
we
in.
did not decide the landing spots of these players. Okay?
One more time.
We are using the mock draft from Pro Football Network by Ian Cummings. We will leave a link to the description in the description if you want to check it out. But you can yell at Ian if you want to yell at the landing spots, all right? We didn't decide them, but
You could.
we are looking at the mock draft and then determining how this would go back and forth. But, Badaki, you had the 101 last time. I'll go ahead and take the 101 here.
Go for it, man. Go for it.
And with the third overall pick, the New England Patriots select Marvin Harrison Jr. out of Ohio State. I'll take him here at the 101. There's been a lot of conversation on the channel in the last week or so of, is Travion Henderson declaring? Is he coming back to school? There's a rumor that he's coming back to school. Oh, does that mean Marvin Harrison Jr. is coming back? We don't know. We don't know right now. And if anyone's telling you that they know for sure, I think they're lying to you. I'm just going to be 100% honest. We don't know. The only way we will find out is when that player announces it himself or someone from his team announces it. At this point, it's all speculation. They very well could both return to school. They very well could both declare. But in today's world, for today's exercise, Marvin Harrison Jr. is the third overall pick. I don't personally think he's going to come back to school. He's the third overall pick to the Patriots, and he links up with one of my favorite quarterbacks later in the draft, but he instantly becomes the offense. Instantly becomes the offense in New England.
No question about it.
And it's hard to see him not finishing as a top 15 wide receiver in his very first year when you consider his talent, the opportunities. I mean, how does this guy not see 10 targets a game in that offense with the Patriots? So I'll take him here.
Yeah, I completely agree. He instantly comes the number one guy, obviously there, and the only target there. All right, I'm at the one.
And sorry, just say like most teams will instantly do that as well. It's just the Patriots are so bad.
There's literally no one else on this team.
Yeah.
I'm at the 102 here. I see two different guys that I would love to take here. I'm actually really intrigued on both landing spots, and I'm just gonna do it because I want to, and I like to have fun, and I'm gonna go with my homer pick.
I know.
And I'll go with Rome Odunze going to my beloved New York Football Giants. Yes, Malik Neighbors is still on the board, and I'm pretty sure he will go off the board right after this. But another wide receiver going straight into opportunity where there's really no other alpha number one there. Tommy Cutlets is dueling it up there. Is it going to be Tommy Cutlets, Daniel Jones, or do they draft a quarterback in this draft? Which they do. I'm personally not in love with, but Rome Odunze instantly becomes the big X wide receiver. Not only that, he's going to become. I'm not going to compare him to what Kenny Golladay was supposed to be when he came to the Giants, but a more talented.
Not going to excite people.
Yeah, right. Like, I mean, the expectation of what Kenny G did, I guess, back in the day, would just 10 times better with Rome Odunze coming into this offense here. So I love Rome Odunze coming at the 102.
Well, I know Christmas is around the corner, but I didn't expect you to already give me a gift, and you did because
Merry Christmas.
My second elite wide receiver in this class is still available to me. I feel like an absolute king here.
Yeah, why not?
Malik
Why not have
Neighbors
some fun?
at the 103. He goes to the Bucks with the 7th overall pick. And when I think about this, I'm thinking, okay, so it sounds like the Bucks are going to be moving on from Mike Evans.
Yep.
Now you've got Malik Neighbors, Chris Godwin. You know, what will they do at quarterback? Well, Baker Mayfield is there for now, and we'll kind of see how things play out down the road. But I think Malik Neighbors is one of two elite wide receiver prospects in this class, as well as Marvin Harrison. I think if Marvin Harrison Jr. wasn't in this class, people would be talking a lot more about Malik Neighbors. but for some reason, in my personal opinion, he just kind of gets thrown to the side as like this secondary option. But he is absolutely, unquestionably an elite prospect in his own right. He had the #1 PFF receiving grade. When you look at a minimum of 50 targets this year, super versatile player. He fits today's NFL like a glove. You know, everyone's going to knock him because when they compare to Marvin Harrison Jr., he's not 6'4". You don't need to be 6'4". Think about all your favorite wide receivers in today's NFL. Most of them are around 5'11" to 6'1", right? Like they're kind of in that range. Your Stephon Diggs. You think about your Jamar Chases. All these names that you don't have to be 6 foot to dominate in today's NFL. This is a player that you can line up all over the field. He's great in contested catch situations, great ball skills. He's even better, in my opinion, than Marvin Harrison Jr. after the catch. I think that's where those two stand out. Silky soft hands, great speed, and I compare him a little bit to Reggie Wayne and Stephon Diggs. So he gets to be, shout out to Bucs fans. You lose a Hall of Fame wide receiver and you add a talent like Malik Neighbors, you're not really skipping a beat there. So, no. Yeah, I'll take him there at the 103.
Yeah, absolutely. Great pick there. He instantly steps into that Mike Evans role, and not only that, he can be utilized in so many different ways. So I like the pick. Once again, wanted to go a little homer as always. You know me, guys. All right. I'm at the 104 here. A couple different options where I could potentially go. I see another wide receiver that we both been talking about getting talked up. He goes in with the 7th pick overall. Now, 17th, right? Pick overall. Now, Marvin Harrison did not go to the Arizona Cardinals as we were all hoping and wishing for. But Brian Thomas Jr. does go to the Arizona Cardinals here in the first round, top 20 pick, going there with Kyler Murray, and that's exactly what I love to see. If you talk about great route running, that is, or not great running, really good route running here from Brian Thomas here. Great, strong hands, top of his class, no doubt about it. 6'4", 204 pounds. You need an ex-alpha wide receiver that's going to be catching, I guess, the DeAndre Hopkins types of opportunities that we've seen in the past with Kyler Murray. That's what he can bring to your team here, Brian Thomas, and that's exactly what I would love to see going in with Kyler Murray. I compared him to A.J. Brown in the past. He has the little hints and glimmers of A.J. Brown, but just a big, tremendous size that I would love Brian Thomas going here with the cockroach himself.
Yeah, I like it. The one knock I have on him is his route running. So I think that's one area he does need to improve.
That's why I corrected myself. It's not great. Yeah. It's a decent route.
He's a ridiculously fluid athlete. It's very special to have an athlete at that size with his fluidity, with his speed, with his yak threat. My favorite comp is Anquan Bolden. I think he has the opportunity to be a real star at the next level, so I like the pick.
Mm-hmm.
But there was a player on my board that I still had higher. I thought you would have taken him. This was the 5th overall pick in the NFL draft. He is heading to Eric Bieniemy.
Here we go.
Who is the tight end whisperer.
The new head coach.
Bowers.
The new head coach. That's what I'm thinking.
Let's slow our roll there. Brock Bowers goes to the Commanders with the 5th overall pick. He is also my 105. We talk about this a lot on the channel, but there is some prospect fatigue for some of these names. If a lot of people were just finding out about Brock Bowers, they would be much more excited. But they have known this name for 3 years now, and all he's done is produce. All he's done is had the best collegiate career ever at the tight end position. He is the best prospect since Kyle Pitts. You can argue with the wall. It doesn't really matter if you think who's better. I don't care. They are both elite prospects. Brock Bowers in his own right is going to be. And, no disrespect to Terry McLaurin, no disrespect to Jahan Dotson, but if Eric Bieniemy is still the coach, it's so obvious how much he's trying to include the tight end position. But Logan Thomas is old, and he's not as athletic as a Brock Bowers would be. So I think Brock Bowers instantly steps in and has one of those, I'm not going to say Sam Laporta because that's tough to recreate, but, a Dalton Kincaid type year. I think he has one of those top 8 finishes at the position with the 5th overall pick. So I'll take him there.
Yeah, look, makes sense. A top pick here, no doubt about it, going to your Washington Commanders, the tight end whisperer, and my opinion, the new head coach there. We'll wait and see what happens.
I don't think he's done enough to get a head coach job. But
look,
we'll see.
I'm there with you. I was just messing. Look, at the 106 here, a lot of different options. A guy that I love does sneak into the first round. But the guy that we've been talking about, the thought process of this I extremely like. Now, he does go in the second round.
Okay.
And that is Emeka Mbuka. He goes with the first pick in the second round to the Carolina Panthers. And one of the biggest things that we've been talking about this offseason so far with Emeka is that I can see a pathway where this happens. Him falling into the second round specifically because of all of the injury histories he has had, or the injury history that he struggled with this past year, and the lack of production that we saw behind Marvin Harrison Jr. Now, he is, in my opinion, one of the most elite route runners in this class outside of Marvin Harrison Jr. Right? Mm-hmm. If Marvin Harrison wasn't in this class, Emeka Mbuka would clearly be the best route runner in this class. Now he goes to the Carolina Panthers. One of the biggest things you always say, there's no separation for the Carolina Panthers right now with Jonathan Mingo, with DJ Chark, with Adam Thielen. And who comes in the first pick in the second round with one of the best separations here, and that is Emeka Mbuka, who is clearly going to be in the slot, who clearly should easily jump in to be the number one wide receiver. Now, he does fall in the second round, and there are some other wide receivers that do go into some spots, maybe not favorable spots, but they do land into some opportunity. But I'm still going to go with the talent here with Emeka Mbuka going here at the 106 in the second round to the Carolina Panthers.
Emeka is the 5th-ranked player in my one quarterback rankings. He would have been my next pick, so I'm a little bit upset because I wanted to make the pick. You made it, so I mean it's the exact pick I would have made.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yes, it's not first round, but it's the first pick in the second round, and if you think about it, it's the first pick for the Carolina Panthers. And I genuinely don't think it's drastic for me to say this, but this would be a franchise-altering pick for the Carolina Panthers. I genuinely believe that. A guy like Emeka Mbuka, who can create separation with such ease, a zone menace, has that nice tempo to his routes, decisive planting, coached up by Brian Hartline. I mean, you can use him all over the field. This is exactly what the Carolina Panthers need for Bryce Young to take his next step in his development. And this would be the dream scenario if there's any Carolina Panther fans out there. You're getting a potential Amon-Ra St. Brown, a Robert Woods type player in the second round. I mean, that is extremely exciting for your franchise. So I'm jealous because I wanted to make the pick, but I love it. I think that is truly a franchise-altering pick if the Panthers were able to make it if he slipped into the second round. And if they don't pick him in and he's available, I mean, they're just asking to be put into the shadow realm.
100%.
Okay, so I am up on the clock. Now, there are some names that were drafted in the first round that I like, and I am considering them. I think this is where you can start to look at running back, though. And we'll have some reasons why for some of those other names. But this is where I'm going to take my RB1 in the class. As of right now, that is Trey Benson. He goes to the Philadelphia Eagles in the second round.
Yeah.
What have the Eagles continually done, well, in the last 2 years, right? Miles Sanders has a career year. That's cool, man. We don't want to pay the running back spot, so we'll see you later. We just traded a 4th-round pick for DeAndre Swift. DeAndre Swift has a great year this year. Slowing down a little bit at the end of the year, but has had a great year overall. Now, that's great, man. In this scenario, we're drafting a running back in the second round. We're not going to pay you DeAndre Swift. Trey Benson, even if they keep Swift, would be a perfect complement to him. But I think about Miles Sanders' success in this offense. Trey Benson can absolutely replicate that. This is a name that a lot of people don't like. A lot of people, I'm noticing, Badaki, are just not in on Trey Benson, and that's completely fine. But in today's mock draft, in today's reality, he went in the second round to the Eagles. Couldn't have asked for really a better offense to be a part of. He reminds me a lot of David Montgomery, Javonte Williams, Rashad Penny. So strong through contact, forces a lot of missed tackles. I like his vision. He's got great long run speed. No player has hit 21 miles per hour or greater more than Trey Benson this year. And that lines up with the film. Shout out to Cam Mellor of College Football Network who gave me that information, or gave us that information. He's played well versus good competition, and I think he's a better pass catcher than people give him credit for. But in that offense, I could see him having a Miles Sanders year in 2022 where he gets 10 rushing touchdowns, just based on being a part of that offense. And keep in mind, guys, the tush push
That's what I was about to say.
will not be around next year. It's almost certainly going to be banned. So I'm a big fan of Trey Benson. Some people don't like him. I keep hearing this narrative, Badaki, where, and it's just from comments in our comment section.
Right.
People are saying, well, if you take away all of his breakaway plays, he's averaging X yards per carry. I'm just thinking to myself, like, yeah, that makes sense. If you take away most people's best plays, their yards per carry is not going to be that impressive.
That could be said for any. Yeah, that could be said for any other player. You know, if you take away Devon's touchdowns, or Jordan
take away
Love.
all of Devon Achane's explosive plays in the NFL today. I mean, what is he worth?
Exactly. What is he worth? I mean, is he even a good running back without those explosive plays?
Yeah.
Anyways,
I just think of like Travis Etienne. Like Travis Etienne and Ken Walker, actually, their greatest strengths are their home run hitting type of plays. They might not have the best consistency, but teams are looking for those kind of players.
Yeah. And, just to close off on the Trey Benson thing with the tush push, that is one of the biggest things here when I saw the Eagles, Trey Benson, the Eagles, and, all these rumors and conversations about how Roger Goodell has said himself that he kind of wants it out of the game. Which means that those goal line opportunities that you see with Jalen Hurts is no longer
it's automatic, right?
Yeah,
and it's just like,
that's going to Trey now, or that's going to be a little bit more creative plays going in the red zone. So I completely agree here. Let's continue with the running back room. I would go Travion Henderson here. He goes in the second round to the Green Bay Packers. He goes with the 44th overall pick here. Yes, Travion Henderson has been rumored to go back to college. But like Zach said in the beginning of the video, until his people and himself says it on whatever platform that they are on, we are going to continue to be projecting Travion Henderson going into the NFL draft. But going here at the Green Bay Packers in the second round, we've seen the struggle with Aaron Jones and him staying healthy. He took, if I'm not mistaken, he did take a pay cut to stay with the Green Bay Packers. A.J. Dillon is just not that guy, even though he's had, he stepped up a little bit in some games for fantasy, of course. But Travion Henderson coming into this game, into this team here with Jordan Love, who has been performing pretty decently, even though he just lost to Tommy Cutlets. Talk it up.
Yeah,
Travion Henderson coming in definitely opens up this playbook for the Green Bay Packers and Jordan Love. I do compare him to an Austin Eckler type build. He is very explosive in space, a pass-catching back who has great long-run speed, in my opinion. Him going here at the 108, Travion Henderson.
Yeah, I love Travion Henderson. Again, we're not saying that he absolutely won't go back to college. We're just saying we don't know yet. We don't know
Let me tell you,
there's no reason to.
If he goes back to college, respectfully, there's only one running back that I would want to start going into the 2024 class as of right now. Obviously, a lot of things can change.
It's too early to say.
A lot of things can change.
I hear you.
But a lot. That's how I'm feeling right now.
Yeah, too early to say for me. Lots can change. But I mean, let's wait and see, guys. There's no point of debating on what will happen. We'll find out soon. We will find out soon. We don't have a horse in the race, by the way, either way. But I'm going to go with a wide receiver that went in the first round, Xavier Legette. You love him or you hate him. That seems to be the narrative right now around the streets. But if you're talking about size, speed athletes, very few in this class are going to give you a better profile just from size, speed than Xavier Legette at 6'3", 230 pounds. I mean, this dude is a Herculean-type athlete. Moves differently at that size, will probably run in the low 4.3s, has that don't get beat type of speed, which kind of helps him operate underneath in his route running. Crazy hops. The issue with him is that he only just broke out at the age of 22 as a fifth-year senior. You don't really love to see that. He doubled his career production in 1 year, 4 years compared to one. He's not a very good route runner yet. But he has all the athleticism to be a real force at the next level. You could compare him physically only to the AJ Browns, the DK Metcalfs of the world.
Yeah.
I like my favorite comp is actually Cordero Patterson. I think that'd be a very fun player to enter the NFL. Now, in today's mock draft, he goes to the Jaguars in the first round. That's why I'm picking him here, because he gets the first round capital. This team believes in him. And I'm assuming that if they do that, they're not bringing Calvin Ridley back on a long-term deal. So Xavier becomes your ex-wide receiver attached to Trevor Lawrence. And he can be that kind of weapon like a Cordero Patterson was when he was drafted. I also see a little Josh Gordon as well to his game, which is a little bit of a throwback. But he had the 11th best PFF receiving grade. He had a 75.6 reception percentage, and he had a 3% drop rate, which is 27th best in the nation. Very reliable hands throughout his film. I'll take him here at the 109.
Yeah, look, that makes sense here. XL, we call him my DK Metcalf of this class that I'm, like you said, physically wise. I'm going in the first round. I love the pick here. All right, at the 111, I'm going to continue with the talent here. I don't love the landing spot. We both don't love the landing spot. I know that's exactly why you probably haven't taken him here. Troy Franklin does land with the Atlanta Falcons, but I'm going to create a narrative.
Okay.
All the narratives that we have seen is that there are two teams, if I'm not mistaken, in contention to try and go out and acquire Justin Fields. And if I'm not mistaken, the Atlanta Falcons is one of those teams.
Sure.
In this mock draft, a team does draft. The Bears do draft a quarterback, which means Justin Fields should be going somewhere else. And in my mind, I'm hoping and believing is the Atlanta Falcons with Troy Franklin, with Kyle Pitts, with Drake London. He not only could be the separator on the outside, but he can be an elite slot wide, or a very good slot wide receiver coming in, which I've been talking about. I do believe, Oregon used him in ways that I would have rather seen differently. Personally, I would have liked to see him in the slot, but great hands, in my opinion, that has that explosiveness in short area as well. Troy Franklin here, we kind of compare him to the likes of the Devonta Smith when you talk about his physical builds. It's really hard to put an actual comp to him, but that is the upside here. And this is a good opportunity because you have an X wide receiver and a Drake London, and you have a 1B, right, with the likes of the Devonta Smith, with the likes of I guess you can go down to T. Higgins, to Jalen Waddle, the 1B, wide receiver 1B type of opportunity Troy Franklin can step into here with Drake London. Now, if Desmond does stay, we don't love that. But if they somehow do get Justin Fields, this is a whole different conversation. This is a very favorable landing spot, in my opinion.
Absolutely love the player. Absolutely hate the landing spot. I'll be honest, even if Justin Fields is there, I'm just thinking to myself, Drake London, Bijan Robinson, Kyle Pitts.
I hear you.
It's like, damn, how does the production come? But I think you made the right pick there because we love the player. He got first-round draft capital. It's just that situation sucks. Okay, so I'm on the clock here. Things get a little funky now. This is where I would start going quarterback. I mean, you can make a case to go earlier on quarterback. That's going to be up to you guys. But the second overall pick, Caleb Williams, lands with the New York Jets. Don't yell at us. Again, yell at Ian Cummings Pro Football Network, okay? We didn't make the landing spots.
Come on, Ian.
But Caleb Williams goes to the Jets. He links up with Garrett Wilson. Breece Hall, I mean, that's actually kind of exciting when you think about it. I mean, imagine if Caleb Williams was on the Jets this year. I think that's probably a playoff team. So Caleb Williams goes to the Jets. It's one quarterback, I know, but, quarterbacks can still make an impact. You just have to decide on where you're going to draft them.
Yeah, 100%. I think there are quarterbacks worthy of going in the first round and the one quarterback, depending on what you need, obviously, of course. I'm going to continue and finish this first round here with my second quarterback of this class. He does go first overall to the Chicago Bears. So the Chicago Bears do pass up on Caleb Williams and take Drake May, which is, I guess, a possibility. But, Drake May, 6'4", big body frame, underrated, rusher coming into this class as well. If I'm not mistaken, he is top 3 in big time throws at deep ball throws as well coming out of UNC. And we've seen the opportunity and weapons that he had in North Carolina with really only one. And if I'm not mistaken, that is Tez Walker. Now he goes into a Chicago Bears team with Cole Kmet, with a DJ Moore here. And if I'm not mistaken, they do draft a couple other people maybe in this draft, but we'll wait and see what that looks like here. But Drake May going into one of, in my opinion, an underrated team. The Bears have a good foundation there, and this is a new quarterback they're going to be investing in outside that, Ryan Poles is going to be investing in outside of Justin Fields because he came in when Justin Fields was already there. Ryan Poles picks Drake May. He goes to the Chicago Bears and has all the weapons around him.
Yeah, I like it. It makes sense. There is a quarterback that I could definitely take at the 201, but I want to take this opportunity to shine light on one of my favorite guys in this class. That is Ladd McConkey, wide receiver out of Georgia. He goes to the Titans with the 44th overall pick, so a top 50 selection, early second round type of selection. And man, they could use a guy like Ladd McConkey. I love me Treylon Burks. Maybe this allows him to kind of step into his own right. But Ladd McConkey, Treylon's not the best route runner. DeAndre Hopkins at this point of his career is still a good route runner, but he's not the best route runner he was at one point. You're going to get a guy in Ladd McConkey who instantly is going to give Will Levis an open avenue on every play. This is going to become your best friend. I mean, constantly finding the open space within a zone coverage, create separation with ease and man coverage, good off the line of scrimmage. All this guy does is create space, and I've labeled him Ladd the Space Creator. Some people don't like it. Some people are telling me in the comments, Badaki, you got to change the name. That's a terrible name. I'm standing by it. It's Ladd the Space Creator. Hate it or love it. That's all he does is create space. Great footwork, great versatility, yak upside. Reminds me a lot of Deontay Johnson, Chris Godwin. This, I've said it a lot, is a Mika Egbuka discount in this year's draft. So I'll take him here at the 201.
Okay, the 201. I thought you would go with the quarterback here. I guess I'll take him here. Yep. Another gift from me. The Patriots link up. He has Marvin Harrison already. At the end of the first, they go get their quarterback here. This looks like they trade up maybe from the second round to the first round, the end of the first round, for quarterback Jaden Daniels, Heisman winner here out of LSU. So you got Jaden Daniels here with Marvin Harrison Jr. There is conversations for him to be going in the top 10. There's no doubt about that. In this mock draft, obviously, he goes in the end of the first. We don't know where he's going to land. We don't know where he's going to go in the NFL draft. But I would say, you are a bigger advocate of Jaden Daniels. I like Jaden Daniels. I'm not saying he's going to be a bad quarterback. I actually think if we continue to win the games as a Giants fan, this is a perfect opportunity for us to take someone like a Jaden Daniels.
Sure.
That's probably going to fall within that 8, 7, 9 range, in my opinion. But Jaden Daniels coming out of LSU here, linking up with Marvin Harrison Jr. could be a deadly, deadly combo.
Yeah, I see Jaden Daniels as a top 10 pick in the NFL draft. In this mock draft, he wasn't, but I love him. Would have been my next pick, so I'm glad that you took him. People know how much I love that guy, so I won't waste any time. At the 203, I'm going to go with another wide receiver. Y'all know we love this wide receiver class. It's a Texas wide receiver.
Texas?
Who's it going to be?
Who's it going to be?
Well, it's the guy who ends up with Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City. Adonai Mitchell goes to the Kansas City Chiefs at the end of the second round. A lot of people are projecting him into the first round. In today's mock draft, he ends up late second. But love this landing spot because the Chiefs need someone with solid hands. They need a good route runner with solid hands. And that's kind of what Adonai Mitchell gives you. He's not incredible after the catch, but you got Rashee Rice there. I think they complement each other actually really well. Rashee Rice is great after the catch. Adonai Mitchell's a good route runner. He's got solid hands. So I think this is what Patrick Mahomes kind of needs. Between Adonai and Xavier, I oddly prefer Adonai just because of the skill sets those two players have. So I'll take him here at the 203.
Okay, 204 here. Let's go back to Texas. I actually don't mind this landing spot, and this landing spot makes sense.
It's interesting, yeah.
Because the speed is there. This team, if you look their team name up in the dictionary, is speed, and that is the Miami Dolphins drafting Xavier Worthy, and he also comes with speed, and that's exactly what you want to see in this pick here. Now, it is interesting, like you said. What is this narrative? How long is Tyreek going to play? Apparently, he's going to play to the end of his contract. I know Jalen Waddle has one more year in 2024. How are they going to utilize Xavier Worthy? Do they get him in space like they get everyone else in space that has speed? Yeah. There can be breakout games. Does he have a Devon Chain type of opportunity where it's very limited, but it's explosive? You're happy with the 4 to 5 targets because he could take it all the way in the middle of the field. So there are different ways that this team can utilize Xavier Worthy. In my narrative here, I'm not necessarily sure if this team could pay Tua this year in this upcoming offseason and then Jalen Waddle the next year with all the defensive players that they have, their offensive line moves that they have made. I don't know, maybe Waddle walks potentially. Not this year, but next year at the end of 2024, he walks and Xavier steps in to an even bigger role. But I love this landing spot. It may be a wait and see approach. Like he's not going to take off of in his first year. Maybe in his second year, he steps into a good opportunity.
Okay, so I'm looking at the board right now, Badaki, and you and I manually added these players on the document, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm not a big fan of this player, but where the hell is Keon Coleman? And I've just realized that I've made a mistake. I added the first round to the doc, and I accidentally skipped Keon Coleman. Maybe that's just
you hate him that much.
Maybe that's something up here, but I accidentally skipped Keon Coleman. He was actually the 8th overall pick in this mock draft to the Chicago Bears, linking up with DJ Moore, and that would also be Drake May.
Drake May. Okay.
So can we collectively probably decide if he's the 8th overall pick? I mean,
Where
probably
would we take him here?
106.
I think I would still take Emeka over him. I think personally.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
So maybe 107, right? I mean, you can have a conversation with all these running backs. I know a lot of people in the comments are going to probably say I don't know. We would take Emeka over him.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll put Keon Coleman at the 107. We'll have to do a little graphic change there. I'm not sure how that's going to work, but there you go. Keon Coleman off the board at the 107. I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of his game, but if he gets taken as the 8th overall player in the NFL draft, of course he's got to be in the first round. I mean, that's just a little ridiculous.
Yeah.
So my bad, but here we are.
Good.
Keon Coleman off the board a little bit later than he probably should have been.
And you're on the clock, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, I just took Keon Coleman at the 107.
Oh, okay. So that was your pick. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, you're gonna go in the second round, but that's okay. Yeah. All right. Well, I thought I'd have a little bit more time, but that's okay. I'm looking at the second round here. There are a couple quarterbacks that go. I'll be honest with you. I see a couple quarterbacks. I will go with this quarterback. I'm gonna go with Bo Nix. He goes in the second round to the Las Vegas Raiders. Opportunity is going to be the biggest thing. I'm going to sound like a broken record all offseason. These, second round quarterbacks are stepping into an opportunity where they can compete for a starting job for week 1. Bo Nix with Aiden O'Connell, Bo Nix versus Jimmy G if he's healthy. They don't get a quarterback in the first round, but they do get Bo Nix in the second round, and that. Aiden O'Connell, that's not his job off the top, off the rip, right? Going into 2024 week 1. But Bo Nix, if he does have a better camp, have a better offseason, have a better spring, whatever the case may be, I can see him being the starter coming into week 1 with the likes of a Devontae Adams, with the likes of a Jacoby Myers, a Michael Mayer there as well, Josh Jacobs. If all those guys stay, well, I think we're talking about really Devontae Adams and Josh Jacobs, if you think about it. Bo Nix can easily step in and be a starting quarterback for the Las Vegas Raiders.
Yeah, I hear you. I think that at this point of the draft, I'm just going to start smashing running backs, taking shots on them here. Braylon Allen goes to the Bucks in the 3rd round. I don't love this landing spot personally. I'm just thinking it through. Rachaad White is clearly going to be your pass catcher. I'm not disrespecting Braylon Allen when I say this, but I'm just not sure that he is that much better of a all-around running back than Rachaad White is. So he certainly isn't a better pass catcher. But should be a good offense. You just drafted Malik Neighbors. Adding Braylon Allen there, he could develop a David Montgomery type of role, potentially get a lot of rushing touchdowns, so I'll take him at the 207.
Okay, at the 208, going to the Baltimore Ravens, one of my guys of this year, Malachi, Corley, the screen wide receiver elite. Guys with space, guys that create space, put him in space. Obviously, OBJ is probably not going to be on the team next year. And they need another wide receiver. Rashad Bateman is non-existent. It's clearly Zay, Mark Andrews, and then it's going to be Malachi Corley here going at the 208 to the Baltimore Ravens. I like this offense for him.
Alrighty. I'm going to keep hitting running backs. I'm not a big fan of this player overall, but he goes in the 3rd round to the Dallas Cowboys. Audric Estime. Again, a lot of NFL teams trying to create that perfect complement like Detroit had. Or currently has. Now, obviously, this is not the same as a Monty and Gibbs, but Audric Estime can play your David Montgomery role. Tony Pollard can go back to his role when he was with Zeke. Similar to Braylon Allen, you just hope that Audric kind of gets that goal line opportunities, and we'll take him there on a good offense.
Okay. I'll go with the running back here. Going to the Raiders, I just took another Raiders quarterback. I'll go with the Raiders running back here in Bucky Irving. Obviously, there could be a narrative, like I said earlier, with Bo. Does Josh Jacobs walk? And if they don't want to pay him that money, Bucky Irving does go here to the Raiders in the 3rd round. Great explosiveness in space. He does have the ability to catch the ball and be a good, in-between runner there. The burst as well is pretty, like I said, the burst explosiveness, that short area quickness could be something that he can be and bring to this offense. That obviously Josh Jacobs is more of a home run hitting guy playing with his aggressiveness. This is a guy you want to put in space and have the pass catching ability take that to the next level.
Yeah, so this is where I'll take on my guy. I'm glad that I was able to grab him here. Jalen McMillan. The reason he fell so far in this draft is because he ended up being a 4th round pick to the Las Vegas Raiders. Devontae Adams, doesn't sound like they want to move on from him. They just signed Jacoby Myers. I think Jalen McMillan is an upgraded version of Jacoby Myers, but Jacoby Myers has been playing well in his own right. Mm-hmm. So it's not a landing spot that I really love, but I'll take him there because I love the talent.
Yeah, makes sense here. And with the last pick in this draft, I'll go with the tight end here. We keep seeing Ja'Tavion Sanders going to the Indianapolis Colts. Does Michael Pittman walk? Anthony Richardson's coming back next year. And Mo Alley Cox just hasn't been living up to that opportunity. Once again, actually, he goes in the 3rd round, Ja'Tavion Sanders to the Indianapolis Colts. So I'll take him here with the 2-12.
So let's talk about some candidates who could have been drafted in the 3rd round. Names that come to mind: Devin Neal out of Kansas. He went to the Ravens in the 4th. Blake Corum went to the Bears in the 4th. Jalen Wright went to the Vikings in the 4th. I love Jalen Wright out of Tennessee, averaging over 7 yards per carry in the SEC this year. You could have made a case for Jalen Polk, who went to the Saints. Mm-hmm. You could have made a case for Carson Beck, who went to your Giants in the 2nd. Yep. Michael Penix Jr., who went to the Browns in the 2nd. A lot of names that you could have made a case for. Torrey Horton went to the Colts in the 4th. Luke Lachey, the tight end, went to the Bengals in the 4th. So a couple of names that you could have made a case for, but you can only fit so many names in a 24-name list, if that makes sense. So Thanks for watching, guys. Sorry we messed up the Keon Coleman pick. That's my bad. But keep in mind, we're manually adding all these names to a different document. But hopefully you enjoyed it. Drop a like, and we'll see you guys in the next one. All up. Now that those idiots are done talking, who needs some rankings?
Hell yeah, I need some rankings.
Then use promo code LAND, LAND, for 30% off any membership at flockfantasy.com.
Oh.
It's so easy, even your grandma could scan that QR code right there.